Hi guys, thank you so much for being here with me. As you know, it's been quite a tumultuous week and weekend, but we're moving along. So we only have 10 minutes on lately, and I do always keep to my promises when I give you a preview. And so the preview tonight was let's dive into this Creeperzoid director. That's what it says, but I had to slash out the name in the text component with red because, the dude is like, I don't know, whatever, 15 years older than me at the time, of course. More power to you if you're still alive. And if not, no crocodile tears. Thank you. So I got this play. This play is one of a few. I was used to a bit larger plays. Amundsen, not well. I had done an extremely successful play when I was about 12 called Skyjack 76 Untebi. It was a drama Critics Circle Award winner, etc. Ran for several months. This, however, was a rinky-dink, popular in terms of crowds. It drew crowds, but it was quite an outhouse. So I'm going to lean into some what I guess some would consider perhaps OG gay colloquialisms. I should put that in quotes, especially the gay part, but I'm 59 this year. And so some of these stories I can kind of only get across using this sort of vernacular. Please don't be offended, but here we go. So Miss Thing is like this director, and oh my God, she has really done next to nothing. And ooh, we're talking like Mr. Magoo, girl. I mean, he is like nasty ass troll. Can barely see through a window pane. Googly googly, and I guess cute at some point to somebody in his life. Not in my life. Anyway, he happens to be queen bee of this show. Small fish in a big pond for damn sure. And has all googly eyes for me. It's like, that could do, like, don't be snatching on me, please. But he's all snatching on me and getting cozy, pinching my arms like, remember we talked about that body issue I had when I was shooting on For Keeps, wearing like layers of sweaters with that puffy one underneath. Well, I was still kind of doing that until I had to do his play half naked. But so he's always like snatching on me and like squeezing on me, and it's like, ooh, ooh. So Miss Thing is now the director of this show. And, so of course, he's got some, God complex over the show, this, fishbowl of a show. Wonderful cast. I put him together with my leading lady. He, like Betty decides suddenly that he don't like her. He'd like rather pick some rich, Miss Thing out on the East Coast, who's been in next to nothing. I mean, she's, an usherette, in summer stock. But, she's well off, and so therefore had something on Saturday Night Live, which I cannot imagine her doing, because they usually bring in names. She's like, a non-entity. Anyway, so she suddenly becomes my leading lady, and of course I have an affair with her. It gets very complicated, whatever. Meanwhile, I'm crushing on my co-stars who we're all playing Navy cadets. So anyway, in this play, it suddenly becomes kind of conditionally, like before production, like prior to production. Like he's starting to troll all over me. I mean, at this point, it's like, he's in love. He's like foaming at the mouth like a starving dog off the back of a meat truck, all over me. So again, this is prior to production. This is something I needed. My mainstay in my head is stage work. I do not come from the East Coast. I do not come from Broadway, but I have done my share of theater. So I like theater. I love theater. I very much wanted to do this play. It was a starring role. However, I didn't know, number one, that it was somewhat conditional, and number two, that I had to be half naked throughout the whole show. I failed to mention that in an earlier episode where I referred to this show, if you can call it such a thing. The reviews were so bad that they called the direction non-existent, and they called my performance mugging more than Mel Brooks, Phil Silvers, and Zero Mostel combined together. Well, in the absence of any direction and not really feeling it, yeah, I guess that is how I came off. Anyway, I was required to play the whole show in my underwear, with the exception of I think I wore a uniform once, maybe twice in the whole 2 hours of the show. And so I'm running around half naked in this show in my underwear, barely in a t-shirt because there's this, madcap thing about, Miss Thing, ending up in bed with me, next day, and of course jumping to all kinds of conclusions that I was all over her and now she's with child. So hence is the comedy. Oh my God, we have to get married because I'm with child. Whatever, Betty, that is some old ass shit. Anyway, I mean, like, storyline. Anyway, so I'm invited to the director's home. It's like, home. It looks like some like law office in East Lansing. And not that nice a one at best, but he tries with the little kind of, not even nagel, but like, oh God, whatever. And then the pool area even gets worse. And that's where the carnage occurred, in the pool area, and it had to be that tacky. I mean, please at least give me some, vintage Christ furniture or some, Astrolite, something interesting. Oh, good God! I mean, the tiling around the pool was enough to make you projectile vomit. So I'm out there conditionally before this production is supposed to start, before things have been finalized, because you don't really sign anything in like miniature 99-cent theater non-equity shows. Oops, non-equity. I've been a member of all 3 trade unions since 1971, but oh well, this is ancient history. 1987, just prior to my marriage. So long story short, it becomes very clear to me that this part is not going to fly my way unless, Betty gets her rocks off. Rocks on the, landscaping by the pool. Anyway, so all kinds of nastiness happened by that pool. Let's just say in a parallel universe. And Sean, at that time, what was masked as promiscuity in the extreme was actually a behavioral thing that you will read all about in my book towards the end of the book. It's kind of very hard to understand me and who I am, unfortunately, without reading my book, because a lot of the details in certain parts of the book, particularly towards the end, almost put the whole puzzle together. At least it did for me, once written and, once ruminated on prior to writing. And it was quite enlightening and illuminating. So here I am, not able to say no, story of my life. So I take the part, get the part. Let's just not go there. Somehow I am there. I have my new leading lady, poor thing, who is like laying on the ground trying to pop her knockers because she's got the worst breast job I have ever seen. It's like a frozen Barbie. And So she's in the dressing room popping her breasts, because apparently those kind, if you punch them on the side, they sort of like break or loosen up, and then suddenly they're down instead of being frozen Barbie. So we got that going on. I got my 2 gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful male co-stars, and I got, Nancy over here all like, foaming at the mouth, pissing down the side of her leg, like shitting green peaches over like what happened by the pool, which ain't never gonna happen again. Trust me. So as if that's not bad enough, he's got territorial imperative over everything I do there. People try to help me, coach me through this monstrosity of a play. It ain't working. He knows it's not working. I know it's not working. And sort of, then it gets kind of like snippy, kind of like, ooh, getting all like, I don't know, nasty and uncomfortable. Thank God the play was over by then. I could snake my way out of there. And Mr. Magoo had no more fun with me. But we all know that the sort of inference here is that Sean at the time had a very difficult time saying no. That is in my book. We delve into that book and those numbers for very specific reasons in very emotionally impacted detail as far as describing, explaining, and sharing. Anyway, That is all about creeps taking advantage of youth in their 40s or 80s or 30s or anything over age. Or at least over 20. Thank you. I would like to at least be of drinking age before I have to look at that mess, let alone be a part of that mess. So, anyway, thank you for joining me tonight. I know it was a bit frenetic. I was in a mood and I wanted to get it out of my system, and there you go. Hope it was lively at the very least. We all know that I just escaped some scares there, health wise. Everything looks good. I have one little teeny thing that needs to be looked into because I did a lot of tanning in my youth, so just want to make sure that's okay. Smoking, tanning, guys, don't do it. No way. No way. Okay? Because I love you. And so, like, you know, the life you may save is your own, and I don't want you to come anywhere near that. Next time, tomorrow, and we got lots of cool guests coming up. Bye.